I don't think I have to tell you again anything about HR. Wherever there is an HR need, we are there. That's the one single line I can wind up on what Bolting HR is all about. To start ahead, we will go directly with the IR panel. We have a list of 6 speakers on this panel, headed by Mr. G.D. Sharma, Consultant, Principal, Beeline HR Services. I request Mr. G.D. Sharma to kindly take on the dais. Along with him, we have Mr. R. Boga, General Manager HR, Tamil Nadu Petro Products Limited, Chennai. To accompany him, we'll have our own Mr. Raja Manikya, Director, Bolting Infrastructure Limited. We also have Mr. Anand. He is a consultant from HSP Consulting. The dais will be shared by Mr. Kalyana Sundaram, Consultant, Beeline HR Advisory. I would like to hand over the session to G.D. Sharma sir to take on from here onwards.
Ladies and gentlemen, we commence today's conference with a very topical subject, which is IR. You could even be imagining that in a logical kind of a sequence, why is recruitment not coming first? And then training and then IR, but it is in the reverse sequence according to some perception. But rightly so, because IR is where it all starts. All our relationships, all our employer-employee relationships, all our contracts, all our appointments, all our formal kind of bonding that was spoken about in the morning itself, everything, all this starts from industrial relations. And it's a rather ignored subject, according to me, according to some of us. Ignored for various reasons. Perhaps because today the work culture, the work environment has changed drastically. The type of industry that we are exposed to has also considerably changed. So there are several reasons. We are not going to get into that. But what is very interesting was the discussion about innovation in organizations by Dr. Sethuraman. So I would like to connect that, just as Dr. Sethuraman connected a quote from Mr. Umapati and linked it to his session on creativity and innovation. Let me connect Dr. Sethuraman's session on innovation with IR. Instead of talking about what is IR and why not IR and why is IR not in the focus today, why is it an ignored dimension of HR and things like that, let me straight away come to brass tacks and discuss with you a case study which will probably set the trend for my esteemed colleagues to thereafter dwell upon their own perspectives of how they have seen IR in their organizations and in their career and so on. The current liberalization, privatization, globalization, which Mr. T.N. Session called as LPG, it's all gas, he said, but it's much more than gas. It has delivered us a lot more things. LPG from 1991 has delivered a lot of good things to the economy in terms of opening up the economy and so on. So therefore, what has happened is there is also a renewed look at industrial relations. We have seen industrial relations in the IT sector in West Bengal. We have seen industrial relations taking a bad and an ugly face in Coimbatore in Pricol Industries. And we have seen industrial relations now again coming back into focus, because at the end of the day, the question that I would like to ask in industrial relations are about 4 or 5 whys, WHY. Let me start by setting that as the context for my case study, which is a real life case study which is currently in practice in the north of India. Why is there a class conflict between what we described as workmen or technicians or blue collar workers and the so-called white collar management or the white collar workers? Why is there a class divide in industry today? Why are we, when we are talking so much ill about casteism in India and things like that, why are we creating caste systems in the organization? Why don't the workmen own the organization objectives? Why is there a kind of a disjointed ownership of the objectives and the mission of the organization? We have spoken about Vinayaka mission and we have talked about Madurai mission hospital. But there is no mission in the organization's IR. The mission is not understood by the workmen. The mission is not understood by the unions. Why is it so? Why does a workman go to the union and not to his supervisor or to the HR to resolve his problems? I'll pause there because it's a very profound question. Why does a workman run to the union and not to the supervisor or to his HR department to resolve his problem? In your personal capacity, we are concerned about cost at home. I am concerned about why LPG is going to reach 400 rupees per cylinder. I am concerned about the cost of petrol, which is rising every 1 week. I am concerned about the cost of onions and brinjals and ladies' fingers. I mean the vegetable. Ladies' fingers are anyway very costly because you have to have one ring in almost each one of them, and so that's also very pretty expensive. But I am now talking about day-to-day cost of living index. We are concerned about quality. A lot was said about quality. We are concerned about the quality of the car that we want to own. We are concerned about the quality of the bike that we run. We want to be concerned about the quality of the water that we drink, and we are very concerned about the quality of the food products that we give to our children. We are concerned about domestic harmony. The moment my wife is upset with me today morning just because I am not going to be available at home the whole day and going to be available only in Lee Meridian, I have already upset her in the morning. Now I go back home and try and pacify her. So we are concerned about pacifying our domestic people, domestic members, and we are interested in bringing peace in the home place. Why does it not happen in the workplace? Why are we not concerned about the cost of raw materials and the inputs and the cost of services that go into building our product cost and the price thereby? Why are we not concerned about the margins that the company is deriving and which is now reducing over a period of time? The margins are shrinking. Why is that the workmen and the employees are all not concerned about where the organization is heading? Whereas we know where we are heading tomorrow from in our domestic workplace. We know that tomorrow is a Sunday. We have booked a ticket at 12 o'clock in Express Avenue. So we know where we are going. But why is it that we don't know where we are going in the organizations? We are concerned about harmony at home. Why are we not concerned about harmony in the workplace? We are concerned about work-life balance for individuals. Why not concerned about work-life balance in the organization? We are concerned about our future and we are concerned about our investments. We are concerned about our finances. We are concerned about our returns as an individual, as a family member, as a domestic person. Why are we not concerned about the return on the investment the organization deserves for its investment on capital and the investment on its return on its investments? Why are we not concerned about the market share of the organization? That is because, of course, there is one more why that I want to ask. Why is it that productivity, the thing that we produce at the end of the day, output divided by input, why is it that the productivity and how much work I should do and when I should take my time off and when should I go to the toilets and when should I go to the canteens to have my breakfast and my lunch and the bigger size or the smaller size vada? Why should these things be negotiated? Is it not my duty to come to the office and deliver goods? Deliver my professional services? Deliver my commitment? Deliver my sincerity? And those 80% and the 20% that Dr. Sethuraman showed, why can't I be delivering that? Why should that be negotiated? Why should there be a 3-year agreement on it? And so after 3 years, can I flout those norms of productivity, of production, of returns? And so can I keep the organization and the management and therefore its future under lock and key in a 3-year agreement which will be extended to a 4-year if possible, thanks to the HR person's innovativeness and innovation and creation and expertise in negotiation. So why should all these things be negotiated? Why should my work be negotiated? Why should somebody tell me that in a day you will produce X number of units of footwear or talcum powder or toothbrushes that you are going to produce, or tires or cars. That is because we have divided our communities outside the organization. The Britishers followed the divide and rule policy, and we have followed that inside the organization. We have divided and ruled, and we continue to divide and rule. And so there is no single view that Dr. Sethuraman was saying that everybody should think about the organization. The Japanese implement 90% of their suggestions, but 38% of the suggestions are implemented in US. Why? Because the organization doesn't take everybody along. How do we do that? How has it been done? And then you talk about the environment in which we are doing this IR. There are labor laws which are not outdated but which are ancient, which are archaic, which don't deserve anything but the dustbin. But if you have a shredder, it's still better. Because in the dustbin, if it goes, it can be revived back, right? Even in your desktop, you can recycle your whatever, right? And so bring it back into revival. So who knows, they may do that. So better it is for us to shred it. And we have now a history and a legacy of a work culture which is marred by this class divide between the unions and the management. There is a yawning gap between what skills the organization requires and what skills the organization has. And Dr. Sethuraman, again, sorry sir, I'm quoting you, but it's
go ahead.
It's positively quoted, so no problem. He talked about the non-availability of skilled technicians in an X-ray room or in an MRI scan room. But we have state-of-the-art hospitals, but where are the technicians? So that is a skill mission on which the National Skill Mission is working, and of which some of our esteemed colleagues from Chennai are also on the panel on the National Skill Mission to try and bridge that gap as fast as possible. And the industry is starved of talent, and the people are starved of opportunities because there is a mismatch. And therefore all these problems of engagement and how do you find the right man for the right job. So it's a lose-lose situation again. There is a lack of flexibility in the organization as to which person I can move from which work cell to which some other work cell. Because again it is bound by a agreement. So the organization, the management is not free to just change this table from here to there, or change this group of people from sitting from here to be sitting there so that they can see that screen better. Those things will not be accepted because they say, sorry sir, there is an agreement. After the agreement, we will renegotiate. There is an unequal distribution of education for the employees. Management gets opportunities to go for management school education in ISBs and the Kellogg's of the world. But what are we doing for the employees of the world, the workmen of the world? What is the training and the kind of capability enhancement that we are doing for our employees? And as I said, productivity is negotiated and agreed at suboptimal levels, not at optimal levels. And so that is the context in which we look at IR. Now here is an organization, our own Chennai-based organization, Ashok Leyland Limited, set up a plant in Pantnagar in UP, Uttaranchal to be precise. They said, whatever that D.D. Sharma spoke 4 minutes back, all of that we will not apply it to our plant. They gave a commitment to Mr. Seshasai, the chairman, the vice chairman of the company, and said, we will create an organization that will be an innovation for HR, that will be an innovation for IR. And they created a plant in Pantnagar, which is already into production, by the way, as I'm speaking. And they branded this event or branded this initiative under the acronym Blessing, Ashirwad, BLESSING, building leaders of excellence for social sustainability through inspiring and nurturing Gen Next. Blessing, in short. What did they have in this plant? No employer-employee relationships. Collaboration with an educational and a technical training institution to develop the skill and the capacity building and the capability building of its employees. A customized curriculum which integrates classroom training with on-the-job shop floor practice. And the objective of this program? To convert workmen into executives. And so they called these trainees that they recruited as practicing engineers. And this is on the basis of a earn and learn model. After 2 years, these trainees get a certificate and they are free to leave because Ashok Leyland wants to create role models. So these employees after 2 years can leave with a certificate, or they can stay back and leave after 4 years with a diploma, or they can continue to work for Ashok Leyland. Obviously, they will continue to work for Ashok Leyland. Like the gastroenterologist who was ring-fenced, who was headhunted and then ring-fenced, will never leave Meenakshi Mission Hospital, I hope. That's what. And so these practicing engineers will not leave. I will just give you some parameters because at the end of the day, proof of the pudding is in the eating. Ashok Leyland in the rest of India, Ennore, Alwar in Rajasthan, Hosur and Maharashtra. Rajasthan, Hosur, Ennore, Tamil Nadu, Maharashtra. 4 plants plus 1 in Pantnagar now. They combine the production of the 4 plants other than what I will now call as rest of India and Pantnagar. Rest of India total production 80,000 trucks or chassis or whatever you want to call it. The total production of Pantnagar, hold your breath, 80,000 vehicles. 1 plant. That's nothing. Second parameter. Number of employees in Ashok Leyland put together. I might be taking a guess here because I want to check with one of my colleagues in Ashok Leyland, but I didn't get the time. It will be in excess of 10,000 anyway. 4 plants put together, rest of India. Pantnagar factory, 2,000 employees, 1/5. And now comes the real measure of whatever has been done. The productivity which is now negotiated in other plants and in other institutions. The productivity average rest of India, Ashok Leyland, 10 employees per chassis. That means it takes 10 employees to produce 1 chassis. Pantnagar, 2.4 employees per chassis. Doesn't that deserve a clap? And that is Ashok Leyland from Chennai. We are very proud to be from the place where Ashok Leyland is operating. Now here is the rest of the story. What do you think is the qualification of these workmen or whatever you want to call it, practicing engineers? Any guesses?
Less qualification.
Less qualification. Yeah, less qualification. What would be the minimum qualification? SLC, good guess. +2, you're absolutely on the top. +2, girls and boys. +2, girls and boys producing world-class products, quality. Not me. World-class products of world-class quality produced by 10 +2 students, not hardcore Govindarajans and all those people negotiating with you. And here is one more interesting facet. 5 days of shop floor experience. 6th day they go back to the classroom. All the employees go back to the classroom because they're all 10 +2 bachas. 1 day of classroom lecture. So you will be wondering, sir, then what happens to the factory on the 6th day? when all these boys and girls go for their classroom training, the executives of the company run the plant for one full day, every Saturday or every one day in that week. The executives of the plant run the plant. There are common, everything is common, egalitarian society. Canteens are common, there are no class divides and glass barriers saying executive canteen, workman canteen, no. No divides. Nothing divides. Everything multiplies. And so there is a common training program for everybody, opportunities for these 10+2 girls and boys to become diploma holders. And finally, they also get at the end of 4 years an opportunity to be absorbed into the management cadre of Ashok Leyland. And so, ladies and gentlemen, this is innovation. To cap it all, or as a icing on the cake, since we spoke about pudding, the UP or the Uttaranchal government has taken this project Blessing as a brand, and they have now rolled out a similar program to other industries saying Ashirwad program of the government of Uttaranchal. And many companies are wanting to fall in line. There are no unions. And there is one more last surprise for all of us as IR practitioners. Uttaranchal government has exempted the Pantnagar unit of Ashok Leyland from all labor laws. With this, ladies and gentlemen, there cannot be a better case study or a backdrop or a context setting for my colleagues here. So let me quickly get on with my job of introducing my good old friend Armugam, who is currently General Manager HR in TN Petro Products. Oh, that's me. Sorry. That's a mistaken identity. Okay. So can we have Armugam, please? So he has been head of HR with an in-depth and broad experience in the fields of human resources in manufacturing organizations, recognized for conceptualization, planning and implementation of recruitment, performance management, long-term based settlements, quality systems and training functions, everything that you can conceive of. He has been recognized for hiring of right talent, retention and management of the performance of the executives, consistently effective in streamlining and upgrading the process, in improving the productivity and reducing costs. Has hands-on experience in greenfield projects like the Pantnagar unit perhaps, getting initial statutory approvals, formulating HR policies, liaising with all statutory officials. So ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce and bring to you on stage T. Armugam.
My dear friends, good morning one and all. Thanks for the brief introduction. Before going through the session, I would like to thank Volta for organizing the seminar, especially on industrial relations. It has been a long time the subject industrial relations is in the panel. When we started our career, that is in late 90s, there is only one department, that is personnel and administration department. All the end-to-end HR process were done by personnel and administration department only. IR is also one of the part. After 1995, all the process like everything is become a specialist activity like HR, IR, employee relations, administration, training, etc., etc. So in reality, if you see, there is a very high demand and also a scarcity for IR professionals now. The reason for this is nowadays most of us don't want to face the human problems. They don't want to deal with the controversies. If there is any issue or any crowd, they don't want to face it. If the situation is like this, definitely there will be a very high demand in future also. So, those who are ready to face all the above said challenges, future market of yours will be very, very good. Now I am going to take you the presentation about the definition, past era of industrial relations and challenges of IR, not in my personal thing. It's only an informative session. Okay. The definition of industrial relations. If you see the definition of industrial relations, it's a formal predetermined exercise in managing the conflict of interest, that is narrowing down the differences between the employer and the employees, and community of interest, that is enlarging the area of cooperation between them. So this is the definition. So the thing is, in industrial relations coexists with the industry. History of industrial relations is naturally correlated to the history of industry. Though there had been a slow but gradual development of industries in India during the British regime, there had been no systematic approach to industrial relations in India. Instead of workers feeling the necessity of an organization and joining it voluntarily in their own interest, the workers in India were recruited in trade unions by the political parties and the reformist movement. In India, the industry in the form of factory emerged in the beginning of the 20th century. Disputes between the workers and supervisors did exist, but there was no separate machinery to deal with them. As a reaction to this situation, associations were formed in India to voice the grievances of the workers. The first ever organization of workers in India came up in Madras in 1914 in the form of Madras Labour Union. This was a general union not related to any particular craft or industry. When the workers of PNC mill struck work in 1920, a fine was imposed on the union by Madras High Court for causing the financial loss to the mill. Mr. P.T. Wadia, the leader of the union, could not pay the amount and he had to leave the country. Along with the industries in India, the number of workers and consequently the industrial disputes also grew. The settlement of industrial disputes in India did not evolve out of local conditions and necessity, but was imposed by the government with a view to protect the workers' interests for maintaining production during the war period, as can be seen from the emergence of Industrial Dispute Act 1947, which was an improved version of some of the provision of the Defence of India rules during the wartime. In any industrial relations system, there are only two parties, the employer and the workers represented by union. At the same time, it also involves two other parties, namely the government ready to interfere in case of need and society which is likely to be affected. Unfortunately, in our country, we started right from the beginning, not only with the three parties, worker, employer and the government, but also with the political parties. The workers and employers should be left free to bargain collectively. That was the consensus arrived at the Tripartite International Labour Conference, Geneva, in 1949. In case of any difference, there should be a voluntary arbitration procedure, but in our system, there is neither formal collective bargaining or voluntary arbitration. But on the other hand, compulsory arbitration is there in the name of adjudication as per the Industrial Dispute Act 1947. There is no system of recognizing the bargaining on behalf of the workers, thus rendering the collective bargaining process. The International Labour Organization at the macro level has adopted two core conventions on industrial relations. That is number 87, Freedom of Association in the year 1948, and number 98, Right to Organize and Collective Bargaining in the year 1949. C87 guarantees to all workers and employers the right to establish and join the organization of their own choice without prior authorization and interference. C98 guarantees to all workers adequate protection against union discrimination and promotes collective bargaining. Out of the 183 member countries of ILO, 150 members have ratified C87 and 160 members have ratified C98. India, being the largest democracy and a founder member of ILO with a massive workforce, is being persuaded to ratify these two core conventions. Post-ratification scenario is a worth the prospective study by IR professionals in India. Industrial relations mainly deal with the three areas of dissatisfaction. That is, two on the employee side. One is grievance, second one is demands, and the third one on the employer side, discipline. Our system of discipline is based more on negative aspect of condemning or censuring the errant worker rather on the positive side of the correcting and the counseling. And the present challenge before the industrial relations, the national level unions in India have launched a program to start union wherever there are no unions, especially in multinational companies, export processing zones, special economic zones, and IT companies as per the core conventions of ILO. Much depends upon the government's outlook in this regard. Recognition of representative trade unions for the purpose of bargaining. These two are the main challenges for the IR. And finally, this thing, tips to become a good IR person. I have given some of the tips to this thing. Use your common sense and be a good listener. Know yourself. Know your men. Know when to make decision yourself and when to ask for help from the group. Take responsibility. Don't run away from it. Keep cool. Foresee problems. Develop your man. Be concerned both about protection and about your man. Be fair and be yourself. Finally, be empathetic. This is very, very important, this thing. And the factors in fostering sound industrial relations, there are about 5 distinct factors in it. One is the effective supervision, second is the effective communications, third one is the successful motivations, effective grievance redressal, effective dispute resolution. And these are all some of the things, and since for the lack of time, I don't want to give my personal thing on it. So I once again thank you very much for your patient hearing, and I'm expecting a lot of questions from that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Armugam. We will take the questions. How I would like to introduce him is, I have at least seen in my 33 years of experience that I've seen CEOs and successful IR managers and people managers and so on. Those are successful CEOs and entrepreneurial kind of leaders who have a good sense of people management. I mean, who are very sensitive to people issues, who are very understanding, at the same time know how to kind of manage the conflicts and very tactfully taking the people along and things like that. Because research has time and again proved that two of the most successful, two of the ingredients for people to be highly successful in their careers, particularly in the managerial kind of careers, is one, ability to manage people, in other words, their people management skills. And of course, the second is communication skills. So, if people who have a good blend of both these competencies have invariably made very successful leaders and CEOs, and I'm sure Ms. Rajamanikam, one of the directors in the Voltech Infrastructure Group who handles the construction business of Voltech, is one such example. Over 20 years of experience and particularly knowledge in instrumentation engineering and industrial relations. What a combination. Instrumentation engineering and industrial relations. I can straight away link both. Instrumentation engineering senses. It kind of, I think that actually activates a lot of mechanisms, and that's where instrumentation and control becomes a very important branch of engineering. And industrial relations has to sense the hinges and the various kind of undercurrents between groups and individuals and so on. And I think that is a deadly combination that Mr. Rajamanikam brings. And naturally, his excellence in employee management and industrial relations have always amazed most of the employees in and around the globe. So over to you, Rajamanikam.
So that I will be free from other issues like salary comparison, benefits, and labor benefits or other issues, PF, ESI. So everything I was free from that. Then onwards our HR department taken over that issues, and now they are doing good job, and we are also able to go with that. But as a EPC company, we face lot of problem with HR and personnel department from public sector companies and private sector companies. For example, we did one project in NLC, Navy Lignite Corporation, which is the Navaratna company of Government of India. There we did the project. After one year, the project schedule was 2 years. After 1 year, the Labour Commissioner of Pondicherry, he approached us and asked us to submit all the wages report and the statutory what we are following up. To be honest, we thought NLC falls in Tamil Nadu, so we have to follow the minimum wages of Tamil Nadu. So on that basis, we are paying the minimum wages to our laborers and workers and facilities and all statutory. But unfortunately, the Labour Commissioner said, NLC comes under central government, you have to pay the minimum wages of central government. So that time, he stopped our activities and he penalized around 50 lakhs to us. My total project cost is 1.5 crores. And that he was penalizing 50 lakhs. So there we invested. Why I am telling is, this was not taken care by NLC HR. This could have told them before they are placing order to me or issuing purchase order to me. These are the conditions, these are the minimum wages. But some of the companies, if we entered in the gate, there will be a display of the minimum wages act. This was not there in NLC, but they were forcing me to follow their policy. So we negotiated, okay, finally we came out in some other way. But this is the problem we faced in NLC. Then again the same problem started with NLC. They asked us to, when the final bill, the normal procedure is every payment has to be made and the company of owner or end user should ensure that we have made a payment to all the laborers, all the dues have been certified or cleared by us. On that basis, we have to pay the PF and ESI to the laborers. The certificate we submitted to the NLC HR. But the mid of the year, they asked us to submit the form 26, form 23, like that. Lot of, I can tell in my single line harassment from NLC. So this paper, they asked us to submit. See, this is the normal procedure of the government that after April only we will get the form 23 or form 6, which has been issued, not will be issued by the government of India. But they force us to submit that paper where we failed to submit, and to get our payment, I have waited for 13 months. So why I am requesting is this type of informations, this type of education has to be done to the contractors, company like us, when we entered into their premises. The same way, we had one more better experience in Orissa, Lanchigat and Vedanta group. We were working with 200 people in a place like Lanchigat, where today also you can find people, they don't wear shirts or jackets. That much Adivasi people are there in Lanchigat and Orissa, where Vedanta they have their alumni applied. So there we were doing the project for Vedanta, and you might have seen the paper that suddenly the government of India, they instructed Vedanta group to stop the mining because of pollution norms or other norms, and the plant was shut down immediately. See, when this organization knows this is going to be happening, so they should call us, they should call the contractors management or HR of the same company, and they have to discuss this type of problem is going to be occur. Please take care of your properties, your people, and safeguard your people like that. This was not told us. Within 24-hour notice, the plant was shut down. And this was happened because the Vedanta HR just closed the main gate. Subsequently, what happened? We had 200 employees, L&T had 600, 700 employees. Like that, many companies were there. They went on violent and they have damaged all the properties. including our shed, our office, our machineries, everything was damaged, where we went a lot of losses because of this. So we were sitting in Chennai and we got the information this is happening there. So we rushed with the cash and we mobilized our own security team there and we safeguard our people and we saw that people are evacuating safely from that place. So this could have avoided if Vedanta has done properly. So this type of activities only I am requesting from all the HRs to get the clear information and give the clear information to the management so that we all will be safe from doing this job. And again, this recruiting of people also we are facing nowadays problem as a EPC company. We get people, we train them, and for 1 year or 2 years we are able to retain them, and the company like other big company, they easily take away the people because of their wages and their salary, where we will be losing our own people. So for that, as I said, the IR relation, this was not able to done by me because we have only 2 signs in my office. One is exit, that's all. You can go any MNC company, you will find only exit mark inside the building, you will not find any entry mark. So that was I was trained. And I was told that only the exit door is there, you show people that exit door is there is exit door like that. But that is not true now when I am sitting in management because losing people and losing skill of people is difficult for us to retain the people. So that I have given clear instruction to my people, no more sign will be there inside office there. So like that I got educated through HR training and HR people to maintain the people and take care of the people on this. And again, this one, there's a NLC like this, a big organization, they should take care of us like EPC companies to come across the problem what we face. And there are I've also seen the HR people, they never go down to the workers level and discuss their issues. Otherwise there is no need of any unions. That unions is formed only because they are not properly taken care by the management. If everybody has paid on their salary or their workload or whatever the outcome from each workers is identified is properly they are benefited, definitely they will stick with us. Because why I am telling, today there is a company called GMR Infrastructure. I am doing project for them in Varora near Chandrapur. When I went for a presentation, they asked me how many engineers you have. I said 40 engineers on election side. They said, we don't have 10 engineers, how come you are having 40 engineers? This is the question they are putting to us. See, this one day I am happy to tell that I am able to retain 40 engineers in my organization because of this IR relation. So we go down to our people and we take care of them what they need, right from their family and the individuals. Because the people who are working in the project, they have to work for more than 12 hours or 13 hours. So that time we are compensating with their benefits and their needs. So that is the attitude I learned from our HR. So same way we are implementing to our engineers and management people to take care of our all downstream people to come up with us and stick with us for a long period. And again, the one more thing is that to our HRs, I have given a very clear instruction to visit the accommodation provided at the various sites. The place somewhere you will not find even drinking water, you will not find proper toilet facilities, you will not find proper accommodations when the projects are in remote area. So there we built our own houses for the laborers with all the minimum facilities. So that instruction also we have given to our HR to take care of all the downstream requirement of the people, to satisfy their requirement, to do the better job where they can deliver more output. And like to retain our people as it is with us, how to differ with other companies like L&T, Areva, ABB, Siemens, because we are into electrical and instrumentation, the same company we compare with ABB, Siemens, Areva and all. So we instructed our own people to have a differ from other company, how to differ. So once I was in Madhya Pradesh, there I seen some people sitting in one cart and they will be preparing the cattle and the tea. The milk and this water, tea tool and other like everything will be put together and you will boil and you will give as a tea and people will be taking the very test. But in Tamil Nadu you can find different vessels. For small boiler for hot water and there is the milk separate and sugar separate like that. But here also you can find it opposite of tea in Tinagar terminal, the same type of people will be doing and mixing everything in one kettle and will be giving tea. The same time there is a differ because the rush is here and rush in other shop is different. So to differ ourselves, We said our people, okay, for the construction company, let us give uniform, let us give our own food, we'll give our own accommodation, we'll provide our own transport to retain our people. Even though it is very expensive for us to make it, even though it is very expensive and we'll be making a less profit, this is our success to be retained in this market, in this competitive field, to retain all these 300 workers and all our engineers with us for past 5 years. Further, as I said, I have very zero knowledge on HR and IR. This all I learned on my professional and career when we are doing this business. Because we are working with more than a machine, we are working with more than humans. So the attitude of the people, right from, we have a migrant labor from Orissa, Bihar, UP and Kerala and Tamil Nadu. The attitude of the people changes and it varies. And the approach also varies. Overnight they will become, they come as very close to us, and then they will be violent to us. So understand their body language, understand their requirement, also it made me to learn lot, and we went into the depth of their, and forced me to learn the many languages in India to interact with the levels, so to understand their requirement. So this type of also we have faced the problems. And again, to take care of them, we had our own security team to see that these people are not moving out of our campus. Everything is provided inside the campus to avoid the outside violence or outside controversy with our laborers. So this type of activities all is taken care by our HR. Other than salary, our people take care of the individuals' facilities and benefits and safeguard. The place like Meghalaya, place like Tripura, the place like in north of Calcutta, again we are doing project. There our very task is to safeguard the people from Naxal. So they demand money, they kidnap the people, they kidnap the engineer, they kidnap our vehicle and they demand for money. So there also our HR has put up in the front as a bullet. They will interact with the Naxal and they will interact with Moist or whatever may be the elements they want to discuss and they have to negotiate. Why I am telling is everywhere our HR has to come forward. Anything happens, you the first person will be attacked. For example, you might have seen the precision instrument which happened in Coimbatore, the HR was killed. That is in Coimbatore, I am telling us 2 years before. That oscillator can happen anywhere. So that's what I am telling. The HR is not a simple thing, only handling the salary or exit entry or exit interview or re-entry or taking recruitment or with that is not the skill. The people who are interacting with the local bodies and local gundas, negotiating with them, taking care of the company benefits, that was the first skill for our HRs we are giving and the training. So like this, in Chennai itself I am telling we are not able to work in Chennai, we have to work in other places of India. We are talking about the other place in Naxal in Bihar, we are talking about Naxal in Calcutta, we are talking about Naxal in Orissa, but what happened in Chennai, North Madras? We cannot work in North Madras. You will not come out of the plant very peacefully. You will be caught out by local politicians and local rowdies. You have to pay every day and every month. This is the deal. For example, we did one project, currently we are working in CPCL, that's what I am sharing my experience. Because the CPCL HR, I want to highlight them. We did that and we got the project. Before I am getting my purchase order, the value of contractor, that paper was with the local politician. Just imagine, they came to me and they bargaining me on the rate, what is the money I have to pay every month. I said, we have quoted very less. They said, this is your order. They are showing me my order. So this all happening because of the HR loopholes. This should be avoided from all the organization and all the firms. So like that, so to entry in the CPCL, I have to get advanced gate pass for 3 days before I have to apply for a gate pass with my photo identity. And after 3 days only I will get the gate pass. But unauthorized people, unauthorized local people, they will enter into CPCL in front of CSF without any gate pass and without any entry. This is how this management, this is all because of HR. This should be strictly monitored. Whatever may be the case, people should not get entered. And we are threatened inside the campus. We are unsecured inside the campus because of these people entering. And we are forced to pay them on their demand. This is happening how it is happening. It can be controlled by HR, but as a government organization, I don't know why it is not happening in CPCL. So like this, we are facing everywhere problem with the personal department or HR department where they should be strictly monitored and they should put forward to their management and try to avoid all these things. Otherwise, a company like us coming up will be very difficult. So I expect all young engineers and young HR people to think on that and be bold to face all these problems they have to face and support us in future and come across and support us to grow this organization or any other organization like us. So that, and one more request is, I will request the HR of the main corporate, please don't recruit people who are doing subcontracting to you. So this is happening everywhere. You give me an order, I execute the job. When my people are trained on that job, you are directly recruiting them. Please avoid that. Because we face problems, we spend time, we spend our energy to train our people. But this happens everywhere, even though there is a ethics and there is a agreement that 5 years you should not touch my people, but 5th day they are taken your organization. So that should be avoided from this my request, because we should also some benefit out by the engineers who are trained by us. And again, my request from all the HR department is to educate the right from day first. First they are the manager, because everybody they think when they come out from the college they are the engineers and they know everything. From there the skills should start from your training program. And we will also ensure that our people are getting trained by you. First thing is the attitude only, as I said, is unless you are a good attitude human, you cannot be a good engineer. So that attitude has to be trained by you people and advise our young engineers to be a good human, then a good engineer who can provide more service to the society. Thank you for that. Thank you.
Down to earth kind of a session, raised very uncomfortable questions to us. It's our duty now to actually respond and see that IR is truly proactive to address and kind of suppress such issues so that they don't crop up at the wrong time. We have now the next speaker, Anand Subramaniam, who is a consultant in HSB Consulting Private Limited in Chennai. Over 20 years of experience across oil and gas, pharma, hospitality, engineering and concept selling. Complete kind of a spectrum from concept selling to oil and gas. So obviously he's quite the right man to talk about IR. He is also a visiting faculty to E School, so obviously he will give us an academic dimension as well. Over to you, Anand.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Mr. Sharma. Today, my topic is industrial relations versus human resource management. Let us see how, if you can take a look at this. This one. Yeah, please. If you can look at this slide, you can see how the evolution of business as well as products as well as the HR function itself has evolved for the past 1.5 centuries. First, the evolution started with bonded laborers. People were making just products. So when there is a bonded laborer, people are not allowed to express. When people are not allowed to express, that is suppression is there. Immediately people will, being a human being, they want to express. So little bit of aggression starts. So they cannot be aggressive because once again the suppression comes. So they need a representative. That is how the industrial relations has started around 1900. Mass productions were there. Product. It's just a product what we get. So people were concerned more about production and the processes. They were not concerned more on human aspects and the related issues. So if you come slightly another decade or two, you will see personnel management is being evolved. Corporate growth is here, product and market orientation. So people are able to choose a product. Earlier, one product was there. If you say Mixie, in about 30, 40 years, it was one brand or two brands you will have. Today, you will have n number of products where the customer has got every right to choose. So it has become a customer delight. So accordingly, the functions also, the product, the industrial norms. So we should look at industrial relations and HR in holistic perspective, not as an individual perspective. If you see, in 1980s, MNCs started coming in because you see earlier the production unit was at one place. Now it is multi-locations. For example, fast foods. You will see fast food like, for example, Domino's Pizza. You will have chain across the country. The same product which is coming out, the same quality, the same product, but different location, but different sets of people. So what is there? The customer delight has to be there. So human resource management started coming in. Then when the innovation, globalization, technological changes are there, the HR is also getting transformed from human resource management to strategic human resource management. Example, if you take project-based companies like oil and gas, like what Mr. Rajamanikam was talking about, where the service is given major focus. When the services are given major focus, your HR role is more prominent. The IR role becomes secluded or it will be very less. There, the HR focus, when it is there, you have to give service to your own people. People are based on the knowledge, skills and the attitude where they contribute for the business. The total business comes out of the people. So, they have to be nurtured, they have to be taken care of. So, HR becomes a collaborative role, as well as HR becomes part of the line management function. From a generalist role of HR, which is getting transformed into a specialist role. Industrial relations still exist. If you take any organization, why industrial relation unrest is there? When the technology, when they are out of technology, when they are going to have the same product, which has come, which becomes outdated. So they are not able to cater to the needs of the people. They are not able to, because human mind is dynamic. Everyone wants change. If people are not able to cope up with that, then the industrial unrest or industrial issues crops up. So where there is a product, if you take any product manufacturing company, for example, you take any automobile company, Standard was there about 20 years back. They had been manufacturing the same product for years together. They were not able to change the machineries or the process or the product. So they had an industrial unrest, then they perished. Whereas you take a new organization which is coming up, you will not see much of industrial issues cropping up. Because they are setting the systems, things, everything in processes, everything in place. If you take in a hospital industry also, it's a knowledge-based industry where people are given utmost importance. Their grievances are addressed then and there because they earn money for the organization. And the technology, everything gets changed and they are getting updated. This is where you will see a lot of differences between the IR and the HR, which is there in any industry. Industrial, when HR is properly functioning, the activities of HRs are properly catered and the services are properly there, then the IR issues will not be raised. When HR functions are not properly done, then IR issues crops up. So in any industry, the HR person should understand the business, should educate the top management, and should go down the level to that of the workers also in the education. And there should be a succession planning, career planning for the people. The worker who has been working in the same function for more than 10 years, he also gets bored. There is no innovation in his job. So multifunctioning, multi-skilling should be there. So when the HR is proactive there, I don't think there will be much of industrial relations issues will crop up. But still, industrial relationships will be there because it is between employee and employee, employee and employer, and the government agency. The government agency comes into the picture at the last word when the company is totally sinking. So when the organization has to survive, they have to keep their employees updated, and with this transformation, the HR is also getting transformed, and the innovation in HR has to be there in welfare, in the people processes, and most of the HR people where we make a lot of mistake is we don't use appropriate methods and techniques according to the industry and our organization. Each organization has got its own values, own cultural systems. So HR systems and processes also should be getting aligned with the organization need. This is what they try to do is try to copy a system which may not fit into the industry or an organization. Because a lot of factors are there from the business perspective, from the product perspective, from the marketing perspective, from the financial perspective, and also HR should get aligned with these people, geographical perspective, economic perspective, everything. So with these few words, I want to thank one and all and my team for giving me an opportunity, especially Voltech. I have Voltech people when I was in Abu Dhabi, because Voltech people, I can close my eyes and I have Voltech people on one issue. They are technically very sound people. So Voltech does the basic training. So as bigger MNCs, they siphon from a smaller organization. We should create a loyalty among the people. So how you create a loyalty and trust among the people is what the HR has to be with the people. So with this few words, I would like to close my session. Thank you.
That brief presentation. We'll quickly move on to the last speaker in this panel, Mr. P. Kalyan Sundaram. Kalyan, as he is affectionately called among friends. Kalyan holds a PG in economics and a postgraduate diploma from HR and IR from Madras School of Social Work. Over 25 years of work experience covering companies like Madura Coats, Spic Gel Engineering, Rane Group, Sanmar Group, Grundfos, finally as the MNC pump manufacturing multinational Grundfos, where he was last Vice President HR. He is currently consultant and also faculty for MBA programs. His main achievements have been to build autonomous teams in his organizations, very successful and proactive negotiations with unions, and a lot of OD intervention are the areas where he has interest. Over to Kalyan.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Being the last speaker, you might be wondering how much pressure I am undergoing. In the sense of I can be different from other speakers, or I am going to repeat the same old thing. Fortunately or unfortunately, I don't have any PowerPoint presentation, and I thought I will to the extent possible, share a little bit of my exposure. You know, Mr. Sharma asked some 2-3 fundamental questions. Why workmen always go to union? Even if they don't have a union in the organization, they choose one of their representatives and go and represent instead of going to supervisor or manager or HR manager. Then he also raised the question, why do you negotiate on so many trivial things? If you want to give a soap, if you want to give a towel, you know, if you want to keep your toilet tap running, if you want to increase your canteen food by another 10 grams, all those stuff, why we need to negotiate. Then he also touched upon a lot of class divide as such. See, primarily, we were under the colonial rule for about 300 years. We were under the, ruling of British people. And even now also we used to tell in so many forums that we developed a kind of slavery attitude or servitude. And not many of us are independent when we express ourselves in whatever we seek or want or do. Similarly, traditionally, if you look at the capital and the labor relationship, the labor was subject to a lot of exploitation way back before First World War or around that time. Long duration of working hours, very poor working conditions. For each and everything, even if they had to or wanted to attend to call of nature, they had to go and ask for permission and then go. Tell me, any human being, if he or she is subject to such kind of exploitation, naturally all those pent-up feelings would manifest one form or the other. That is how the exploitation was the first and foremost issue that shaped up the industrial relations over the period of time. And next came the paternalistic view of labor. That there used to be an entrepreneur. He brought in money, he invested his money in the organization, he got the technology, and this entrepreneur, he will simply expect his employees or workmen to do whatever he wants them to do. Being a human being, he has got a heart, a mind with full of ideas and a brain also. If we are asked to behave that way, no, you don't have to think, you don't have to plan anything, simply do whatever I tell you. Naturally, you will get frustrated in the process. That is the next source of manifestation of anger, and they wanted to seek an identity for themselves. That's how the industrial relation shaped it. And all the welfare, we know what to do for you. We will provide you with uniform, we will take care of your clothing, we will take care of your food. And this fellow will, sorry to use the word, this fellow, the so-called blue-collar or workmen used to always, without asking whatever you can give me, why don't I think and ask for more? That's how the relationship shaped up. And primarily, in my view, the wage differential between blue-collar employees and the white-collar employees used to be very huge. Imagine, these people repetitively, they have been in the shop floor doing a lot of work, and all the white-collar employees, be it the frontline engineers or supervisors or managers, whoever is joining in the organization, these blue-collar employees used to train all these white-collar employees. Imagine, in fact, they used to comment also, sir, this company, I don't think I have any future. All new fellows only I have to train, but you see my salary, you see my condition and all those stuff. So that is the paradox. See, the wage differential was the main source of the problem. Secondly, lack of transparency. See, in as much as we have given importance to management reviews involving the top management of the organization or the middle management of the organization, in terms of the communication with regard to the organization achievements, what for this company or organization is in existence today. All this communication we are very comfortable in doing with middle management and top management, and also the review, how the organization is shaping up, how various processes are functioning. These reviews never getting boiled down to shop floor workmen. How come on the age of or era of information, if shop floor employees kept out of the loop, naturally the frustration and we don't respect. We always feel or think, no, these information are supposed to be confidential. We can't share with them. If we share with them, it will go to the union leader, it will go to outside world and all those stuff. These two primary reasons has been shaping up very well the industrial relations in the past so many years. And also, it has got evolved over a period of time, I said. They simply used to do if you take Taylor's management principle and the division of labor propounded by Adam Smith, the so-called white-collar management team will plan and check whatever is the work done by blue-collar employees. Always the monotony and boredom set in because they only use their hands, they don't use their brains at all. So over a period of time, we started recognizing this factor and we thought we would make use of them in a better way. And nowadays the concept is IRS being, at least to the best of my knowledge, I was working in the engineering division of Sanmar Engineering and also in Grandfast. We started viewing industrial relations as a profit center in the organization because these people directly responsible for managing the blue collar employees. What kind of a value addition we can expect from the blue collar employees? We used to ask them, we used to allow them to take decisions. For example, if there is a overcapacity in terms of their cell, it's a cellular mode of manufacturing there in these two companies. If there is an overcapacity of products, the capacity is not available in the plant, these workmen decide which subcontractor they should send it to and by what time frame they should get it back. These are all not heard of in the past. Also, we encourage them to avoid as much wastage as possible. Anything you save, avoiding the wastage, you earn your money. So this way we allow them or ask them to prepare a brief profit and loss account. How much money organization spends on them and what income they give to the organization in terms of good yield, in terms of good quality, in terms of good output, in terms of reduction in wastage, value addition. So this is how it has emerged over a period of time. And I think the problem between this management and the blue collar is always because of lack of conviction in the mission and its values. The IR professionals either simply they are taken for granted by the management. They are there only to upkeep the facility, and anybody wants to air any grievance, they can straight away go knock his room and go and talk to him and things like that. But some of the structural adjustments organizations are making over a period of time, and things in my eyes are looking very good in the near future. And the trouble with the organized workmen or regular workmen, it started fading away now. They are all mature now. Management also is more proactive, except for one area, which is recognition of union. I do not know if there is a strong conviction why management refuse to acknowledge a union. We have quite a few examples in this part of the world. The immediate fear is either they will be militant, any outside influence will be there, we should be yield to all this stuff. I have invested my money. I think we need to move away from this and start recognizing, their association, workmen association, and start dealing with them. And the problem, as I said, with the regular workmen started reducing, and now the challenge lies because we go more for outsourced category of employees. Apart from regular workmen, nowadays we start facing problems with outsourced employees because just in the past we used to treat our own regular employees, we started treating them now. Now it's the next phase of evaluation. You may take a stand that no, I have entered into a contract or legal agreement with the service provider and it is his botheration to take care of contract for service employees. That's also a landmine. You need to address or focus your mind on whether their terms and conditions are good, whether they do the same or similar kind of a job just like our regular workmen, whether there is equity in terms of pay, service conditions, all those stuff. That will be one of the area we will start witnessing in the future. And with this few words, I want to thank Mr. D. Sharma and the whole team for giving the opportunity. Thank you.
I mentioned at the wrap-up time. Now quickly, can we get on with the questions? Any interesting questions from the audience? There are two hands going up there. The gentleman there with the suit, yeah. Somebody can pass on the cordless mic to them. Some volunteers, please, quickly. Yes, please mention your name and the company that you represent and what's your question.
Good afternoon to all of you. I am S. Moving on to the points that have been discussed, I would like to make a couple of observations with regard to the issues that have, in fact, Mr. G. Sharma, you had raised so many questions of why. And I think that most of these questions are because the kind of emphasis that has been laid on what is called as the rights of the employees has been laid stress. Not only the employees as citizens of India, the stress has always been on the rights rather than the responsibilities attached with the rights. Duties and responsibilities also are primarily important if you have to exercise the rights that you would like to.
Agreed, sir. What's your question?
So the point is, as I told you, it's not a question, it's an observation that I would like to make on the points that have been discussed.
Yeah.
So I think as education institutions that we are, we have a primary responsibility of educating the youngsters because these are the future of the country. So we need to educate them on the importance of the responsibilities that are important along with the rights that have been for. And another important point that I felt was we have to look at the industrial relationships in terms of what happened prior to the liberalization and the post-liberalization economy, more particularly with regard to the advent of the IT industries which have come. So there has been a lot of change in the lifestyle of the people, the society at large, and therefore the industrial relationship and the expectations of the workers have taken a big turn. So we need to address those issues in this context rather than thinking in terms of the normal changes that have been, because there has been a very fast pace that has been changes that have been taking place in the course of time. These are my observations, and I think all the HR consultants and HR leaders here to be able to address those issues.
Thank you, Mr. Vasile. Thank you.
From both sides, either from the IR perspective or from the mines perspective.
Very good, sir. Thank you, Dr. Seturaman. Yes, sir.
Well, thanking you.
But can you, as a AR person, tell the reason?
Good
Though
question.
many of the reasons known to all of us, but I would like to know your opinion on the reasons why not much of strikes and walkouts.
Excellent, sir. Excellent. Any other question? Yes, the youngster right in the middle.
Next, why there is a necessity for a bond when the company feels that there is a very good industrial relationship
Why there is a necessity for a bond?
with the freshers.
Okay.
Some companies go for a bond of 5 years
Oh, yeah.
or minimum of 2 years.
Yeah.
Why should they go when they feel that they are giving a very good industrial relationship to the employees?
Okay, sure. Can I respond to the last question first? There is no emotional bond between the employer and the employee, so they go for a contractual bond. And that is supplemented by the gentleman who said that there is a deficit of trust. The bond, the understanding, the trust is lacking. But that is
Feeling of insecurity.
feeling of insecurity. Yeah, I think the bond is a very nitty-gritty kind of a thing. Perhaps we can deal with it during lunchtime. There will be better bonding among us during that time. Coming to Dr. Sethuraman's question, it's partly answered by Mr. Vasudevan, who raised a issue by saying that we have dealt with IR in the past, and perhaps today it's not so in today's kind of Gen Y, which is being dealt with. Gen Y is sitting here, Gen X is also sitting here. So let me sum up this session, which will perhaps answer Dr. Sethuraman's question about why today, which is a good thing. As to his question was, why are we seeing less number of strikes and lockouts than we saw in the past? So are things changing? What is really contributing? Small things do make a very big difference. In our day-to-day work situation, what is not important, what is not so important is those things like the agreements and the 4-year long-term settlements and so on. What is really important is how much care are we taking of our people, thereby trying to build a certain emotional bond with our employees. What is, we are today talking in forums like this, standing here and saying employee engagement. When does an engagement happen? An engagement happens when the boy and the girl like each other and they decide to get married. And so engagement has to be preceded by marriage. Today there are divorces. All attritions are divorces. So to me, an employee engagement has to happen with a certain amount of bonding so that we don't go for contractual bonds. It has to end in a good marriage which will last, loyalty factor. And what will bring harmony to this beautiful marriage is understanding, trust, deficit which is happening there, and things like what Professor Vasudevan of Vinayaka Mission is saying, and what all these wonderful gentlemen have said so far is, are we taking care of our employees? Because traditionally one very nice catchy way of understanding IR and HR, which perhaps is attributable to one of our senior colleagues in HR and IR here in Chennai, perhaps somebody like Mr. Aramudan, who is the CEO of Lucas TVS. Let me quote him, he's not here, I'll acknowledge him tonight. HR is proactive IR and IR is reactive HR. Some claps for Mr. Aramudan. Not me. So if we can be proactive in our HR and if we can be proactive in our IR by not confining ourselves to our wonderful air-conditioned cabins, but if we can also walk the talk and walk the workshop floor along with our technical Rajamanikams and others, and walk the talk and walk the shop floor and not have a grievance cell somewhere earmarked saying toilets, ladies or something like that. It is not a grievance cell to be put with a board, but the grievance cell need not exist. Because if workshop managers and if all our managers and line managers are all people managers partly, and then if they are 80% technical managers and if they are 20% people managers, not HR managers, I make a very sharp distinction between people management and HR management. In Larsen and Toubro, we had a program, a 2-day people management program run through all our executives and managers across India and all our locations. Mr. Ganguly will come here in the afternoon and perhaps we can vet it out with him. What is this people management program? It is just brushing the dust off your mind in terms of understanding what makes a human being motivated. What is that 80% and 20% that this gentleman showed us today morning? What makes him tick? What makes him happy? What can give him satisfaction? Do we have job descriptions in organizations today? Do we have key performance indicators? Somebody from Voltec was mentioning to me today morning. So if we don't have job performance measures, and if we don't measure performance, and then if you reward somebody irrespective of what performance he has been given, how do you expect that employee to be bonded emotionally and otherwise to this organization? So to him, to such employees, money will motivate for some time. That 20,000 rupees extra that he paid it'll motivate me for some more time, and then I get disenchanted because work in the first place is not so enchanting. My supervisor doesn't talk to me, my manager doesn't talk to me, my HR manager thinks he can send me an email and his problem is solved. So I asked young HR managers, have you communicated to your employees? They said, sir, we have sent an email. Wow, what a smile in his face, but he doesn't know that his employees are not smiling. An email is not a solution to communication. I cannot send emails to my wife. Yeah, but people do, I guess. Because people say, hey, I saw you on Facebook yesterday. You don't have to see me on Facebook. You have to see my face. And that's the book, isn't it? So today, unfortunately, there is a lot of disconnect. There is a lot of impersonal kind of a handling of people issues. So coming back to my people management, all of us have to be people managers. Yes, some of us who are qualified from Tata Institute and from Madras School of Social Work and from DG Vaishnava will do HR management, which is to put in the systems and the policies and the procedures and the processes that Anand and many others spoke about. But who will do the people management? I can't manage your people. I may be your HR manager. But like Voltec is doing, you have to manage your people. I will help you in it. I will bring you the arts and the science of HR into your people management. Heart is art. And so if you are to manage from the heart, at the same time use rationale from your head to ensure that your unions and your workmen understand. And so Dr. Sethuraman, the answer to this so-called happy situation today is because there is a lot more transparency that Kalyan mentioned about. There is a lot more trust. Deficit may be there, but still we are balance of payments we are doing. There is a fair amount of trust. There is a lot of transparency. There is a lot of sharing. And most importantly, and that's the final point, that in IR I have always told unions only one thing, and that has worked for me. Says, boss, I tell the union leader, I used to handle a federation of 36 unions in Hindustan Zinc when Vedanta took over Hindustan Zinc and Bharat Aluminium in Korba. Somebody, I think it was Raj Manikam, mentioned about Lanchigad and all that. I am not part of that management now. But anyway, when I was the first group HR head of Vedanta Corporation, and when we wanted to acquire and grow inorganically, I used to tell these unions only one thing. That we are now sitting, both of us are sitting in a boat and there is a small hole at the bottom. Do we want to use lipstick? Sir? Come on, sir, laugh. I'm using your example straight away. So I used to ask these unions, can we use some kilos of lipstick and paste underneath so that you and I survive? Or do you want to still talk about union versus management and say who is big, you, Nia, Nana kind of a thing? What are we about? We are in a situation post LPG where LPG is costlier, but we are in a post LPG situation where it's a question of perform or perish. So we will both perish, or can we both perform and be alive? Is a simple question that we need to ask our employees and the unions and other associations to tell them what is important to you. Do you want to sign a bond, or do you want to sign an agreement, or do you want to see the production, productivity, efficiency and everything goes up and costs and other things come down? And so that is the bottom line of IR today, and perhaps, I don't know whether I have answered everything. I have not even given my chance to my panelists because they all spoke. Now it's my chance to speak, I thought. And so I am summarizing on their behalf with due permission to say that that is actually at the bottom of the things, that if we can take care of small things in people, small gestures, and which IT companies do very well, and therefore that perhaps answers Dr. Sethuraman's question in full. If we can take care of small grievances, small incidents, small requirements and small needs, like your HR services center which Madurai Meenakshi Mission College Hospital has, then perhaps you have a help desk, you take care of employees' requirements, you take care of employees' small needs, and then they are very happy. And then they will do the large things for us. And so small things do make a very big impact as far as IR is concerned. I wish to thank each one of my panelists here for making this presentations, this particular session very I think we almost traced the history from 1.5 centuries right up to today. So that's the credit that they deserve, and they brought in their industry and consulting experience for us. And so I wish to personally thank all of them. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Have a great day. Thanks.
Thank you, sir. I hope the session was as energetic as it was at the end. Hope you all have been able to sense how IR is all about and get a realistic view of all this. On behalf of the World HR, I would like to thank all the panelists for making it up and able to share the valuable knowledge with the audience over here. As a token of our respect, I request Mr. Kirti Vasan, Assistant Vice President of Voltec Transformers Limited, to garland the guest. To start with, I request him to honor Mr. Arunachalam from TN Petro Products. I'm sorry, Mr. Arpakam from TN Petro Products. Next, I request I'd like to request Mr. Kirti as a token of our respect. Further, I would like to request him to honor Mr. Anand Subramanian. And definitely our own Mr. Kalyana Sundaram sir. I would be thank you, gentlemen. Just before we break for lunch, I have a couple of other responsibilities on my shoulder. We have an event he has made up again on a very short notice, all the way he's back to preaching today itself. Thank you very much for being up. He is not well today, so he's not able to share with us to share some of his views on HR. So he has delegated that responsibility to Mr. Manivandan, a common friend of ours. So he will be just sharing a couple of notes on behalf of Mr. Elias to the audience over here.